What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back for another Walking Dead video for the ones who live, for the review of the finale, The Last Time. And wow, you can basically disregard my last video about my final thoughts and everything, because it went in a direction and just everything about it was nothing I was expecting, because I was nervous the entire freaking episode. And I was just waiting for something bad to happen, just like the entire time, especially after we got the confrontation between Thorne, Rick, and Michonne. I was just waiting for something bad to happen, but for the most part, though, it went down exactly how I thought it would as far as them attacking the summit, and I just thought that was so badass. But before we get into it, if you enjoy this type of content, please leave a like, please leave comments, and of course, subscribe to the channel. Help me make that push to 1,000 subscribers. But anyways, let's jump into the review for The Last Time. Definitely, it was an amazing episode. It's compacted things in a way that I didn't think they would be able to. There's still, I think, a lot of story to tell. I don't think there's, I don't think it's done and over with as far as the CRM is concerned, because they kind of expanded things on the CRM with the way the things went down in the episode. But we get into the episode. We have Rick and Michonne. They both arrive back at this Cascadian base. Rick, of course, as we saw in the trailers and everything, he approaches the gate with his hands up. He gets let back in. He meets with Thorne. She lets him know that Beale wants to see him, and he gets the briefing. And as we know, Rick goes into this briefing. He gets kind of a detailed history about the CRM, how it came to be, and the battles that took place. And Beale explains to him that he sacrificed his hometown, because he goes into this whole spiel about how he was from Pittsburgh, born and raised there, and then his family wasn't what he wanted it to be. They mistreated him, and then once he turned 18, he enlisted in the military, and then his life kind of took off from there. But during these battles, they had this standoff, more or less, with the federal government. They were losing, but they lured in a horde of walkers, but they sacrificed Pittsburgh, but gained Philadelphia, and they began the formation of the CRM. But he goes into the briefing about what they're planning, what they're going to do, and this is also the thing that Michonne is sitting in on, this presentation, where he goes into and he kind of confirms what we all suspected, that they are going to wipe out any communities that they come across, anything that can pose any kind of threat or what he sees as a threat, and they want to be the ultimate force within the country and then the world, because they don't want anyone opposing them, and that's why they had this whole A-B system where they are going in and they are planning to wipe out Portland. They're going to go in there, evacuate like 10% of the children, and then just gas everybody else. They're going to do away with this community and any other large communities that they come across. Again, anything that they consider a threat, someone that could oppose them down the road, and they want to deal with them swiftly. And it's in this where he brings out that sword that he had. And this is something that Okafor mentioned way back in episode 1, where he says, swear by the sword, but don't let it take you. This is part of Beale's deal with the Echelon briefing. You swear on the sword, you swear to me, basically. And he sees that Rick is hesitant. And this whole time, Rick has his prosthetic, his gun, laid out in front of Beale, because this is something Beale makes him do before they sit down to have this briefing. But Rick has a side knife that he doesn't let him see. And this whole time that he's trying to get him to swear the sword, try to get him to commit and possibly be leadership down the road, he sees it in his eyes that he's not in for it, that he doesn't want to do it. And then he goes to attack Rick. Rick, of course, takes out that knife, throws it at him, hops the desk, grabs that sword, and then they do something I didn't expect them to do. They killed Beale. I did not see that coming. I thought he was going to be a bigger threat, something to maybe be something else down the road, where we could possibly see any kind of continuation of his story, if not a season 2 of The Ones Who Live. They snuffed out Beale pretty quickly. I did not expect them to do that because of who he had been built up to be, and it turns out he was really no threat at all. Rick dealt with him, and then he stuffs him in a container, and that's what we see him pushing around, pushing into the elevator, and then they get to this elevator, and he deals with that other soldier because there's blood leaking out the bottom of it, and he beats this other soldier to death, and they are kind of part of the plan that him and Michonne are putting in place. Michonne and Rick, of course, when they're trying to get out, they both come to the conclusion after Michonne sees that briefing that they can't go home yet. They have to do this. They have to take out this summit. They have to take out these forces, because these are the ones that are going to lead that march, lead that charge. Then also, that was a part of that briefing, kind of a major part, and something I did suspect, that Beale wants to have total and complete control. So when they would take out Portland, they would institute martial law on the city of Philadelphia, therefore taking away any rights anyone has, making them more prisoners to this, and then they would rebuild in their image. They would do things that they wanted to do that they couldn't do before. They would do away with any kind of council or anything that runs the city of Philadelphia, and then institute martial law and put things the way that they want them. So they proceed from there. They build up this plan. They rig up the tent, and that I called from the trailer breakdown and whatnot, that the tent that they come across is actually a munitions tent. This is loaded up with all the chlorine gas, projectiles, and whatever else, and they rig it to blow, and they use the walker corpses of this beaten soldier and of Beale, and they tie them to release all of these grenades that they have rigged up to pull the pins, and they lead them in opposite directions. And as they're leaving, this is where they encounter Thorn again, and she did not turn like I hoped she would. She is still actually 100% committed to the CRM. She wants to see this through. She understands the cost that it will come at, but this is what she believes in. And as she's kind of giving this speech or whatever to Rick and Michonne and tells them to go back and undo what they did, they kind of split off, and then the tent blows and wipes out everyone. It's a massive explosion, and just then we get kind of a few minute time jump or whatever, and we see that everyone is dead. Beale, everyone is gone, and then we're just left with Rick, Michonne, and Thorn, and they do have the kind of a little showdown, and we have some moments where we're not sure everyone's going to make it, because like I said, I was nervous the entire episode that we were going to lose someone, that someone was going to get mortally wounded or whatever, but they pulled through. And they dealt with Thorn. They get out, and as everything's going on, they climb up on top of these shipping containers, and we get kind of a God's eye view, like just a zooming away, seeing that this place is just laid to ruins. And we get voiceover of the CRM Philadelphia, the people giving their news reports about how this happened, and they come to find out everything that the military was planning. And from there, it expands the world of the CRM and hopefully pushes it forward to maybe another season or maybe some other show or whatever. But for the first time in 10 years, the people of the Civic Republic are free. They can come and go as they please, and they're going to go out and actually help communities. They're not going to snuff them out like they had done previously, like in World Beyond and what they were planning to do to Portland. So with all of that, I thought, we would not get the closure that we wanted. We got a bit of it. It was not 100% because, they can't do 100% what we all wanted them to see, which was a reunion with everybody. That was not going to happen, and that might be laying the groundwork for the next level, where we do actually see Rick and Michonne fly home. We get our cameos of Judith and RJ. They are reunited, and so basically my whole last video was just my foot in my mouth. It's just, I did not expect them to do that. I was completely ready to have it be ended in a way that I did not like, or I was just not going to be happy with, but they did it. They brought these people home, and we got at least a small part of that reunion. Whether or not we're going to get a reunion between Rick and Daryl and the rest of our survivors, we still don't know yet. We did not get any kind of announcement like I was hoping for, but this does leave the door open to where they expanded the CRM, because we see Rick and Michonne come home, and as they have their little reunion, we see helicopters fly over with what I can only assume was supplies to go out to other communities to help bring the world back as a whole, not just bring back this one central part and have it be basically a dictatorship to rule over everybody else. That's what Beale wanted, and that's what they kind of explained in this episode. So it was really interesting that Beale got killed. I did not expect him to get killed, and the way that they all brought it home, basically, I was not expecting that either. I did not think we would get this reunion, and it basically left me in shock, because again, I was just anxious the entire episode, and I did not expect it to end the way it did. And I can say I was satisfied by it, but I do want more. So I hope that they still at least consider coming back for a second season if they don't already have it in the planning stages already. But it would be amazing to see these characters come back, see a total war, because you could have CRM people that were loyal to Beale, that want to try to lead a revolt or whatever, but that is almost kind of less likely too, because they did have like 3,000 soldiers at this summit that were all wiped out. So we don't know what's next. I'm hoping that we get something to where Rick and Michonne maybe at least make cameos in Daryl's series, maybe even Maggie's series too, where he kind of joins in on the search for everybody to bring everybody back home. But I'm not sure yet, because they did end it in a way that we could live with, aside from the reunions that we didn't get. But anyways, that was just my review of it. The series as a whole was amazing. It was great to see everybody come back, and I'm still hoping a little bit that we get something more. But we can't be selfish with it, and this was meant to be something to bring these characters to a close, and in a sense it did, but it did leave some doors open for other things. But anyways, if you enjoyed the review, please leave a like, leave a comment, and of course subscribe to the channel. Help me make that push to 1,000 subscribers. And I will catch you on the next one, guys. Take care. Bye.